Welcome everyone. I'm Keith Koo. I'm a parent in the Chinese Immersion Parents Council of Fremont. We are here today talking to our candidate for District 4, Yajing Zhang, who is also a parent. And earlier in the week, we did a recording with Jansi Kalapala. So now that we have both candidates for D4, we would like to interview Yajing tonight. And we're doing a series. We're interviewing all of the D4 and D5 candidates. And this is very relevant to not just our Chinese Immersion Parents Council, but also to Fremont as a city as well. I'm also joined with Julie Fan, who is the current CIPCF president, and Brian Lee, who is one of our former CIPCF presidents. And so tonight, we just really like to welcome you, Yajing, for joining us and giving us a chance to get to know you better. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
So Yajing, let's start off with, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? What is your background?
Okay, I got a technical background and got my bachelor and a master in physics. I got my bachelor of physics from China, and then I came over here and under scholarship, and then master in physics, and then I enrolled in a PhD program in UCLA. It's electrical engineering. So after 3 years, and I decided to go to work. So I came to Silicon Valley and worked in the high-tech industry for 9 years. So the first 1 year I worked in the technical field as engineer. And then the second year and onward, I worked in the business department, in the marketing department. And then I got married, and I, want to have some time with my kids. So I started my own business. So now I'm an owner of a small investment, real estate investment business. Yes, that's my story.
You've done a lot. So that leads us to the next one. You said you have kids. Tell us a little bit about your kids.
Oh, my kids, my son is 14 and he's a ninth grader at Irvington. And my daughter is 12 and she is a seventh grader at Honor Middle School. Yes, but their birthday is late. So that's why they're supposed to be, like what, 10th and 8th. But my daughter is November 2nd, which is just 1 day after the cutoff date. So she's the oldest kid in the class.
We've heard similar stories, sometimes just hours missing the cutoff. What motivates you to want to become a trustee in our district?
I actually, in the past, I was not quite involved. I trusted the school. I think, school is supposed to teach kids and I was a very good student. So, my parents never gave me any tutoring. And my idea is always let kids be, right? How hard is that to study? So that's, for me, it's always like, it's a no-brainer. And then when kids are older, I start to hear the parents are having all this after school classes. They say, okay, if you don't give them the class, they will be lag behind because just when the kids are older, the class is being taught so fast and they're not prepared for that. And then I talked to other parents and there was other issues. And so, and then at the time this year, and I was told by a friend that there is an opening for our district and people are looking for a candidate. And I don't know, there's people are just looking and they don't know who would be the right one. And there is only 7 days before the deadline for registration. I'm like, well, I'm in. So, because I think, even though I don't know the details of how to run, a school board, but I know that I can do this. And I also think I am passionate. I'm always, pro open-minded and pro change. And also I was an excellent student. I always like a little bit of adventure in life, and learn, be a student of life. So with that, I also want to, provide, kind of give back to the society and be an active member of our community. We talk about community service. I want to be a good example to my kids. So with all that reason.
Well, thank you. And so earlier you gave us a lot of your background academically and professionally and now you're involved with real estate investments. But what are some of the specific skills and experiences you have, even though this is in essence, a new position because it's becoming vacant? What are some of your skills and experience you have specifically to be a school board member?
Well, I understand this position is really to make sure that our school district is in the right direction. I think direction is very important, and you need to oversize, and you need to have a comprehensive view of the school district. And as a business owner, I always look at the overview. I look at 5 years down the road, what's going to happen, and what else? And also, I think there's responsible budgeting. It's also very important. Without fund, you cannot do anything. We talk about AP. We talk about a diverse program for all kids. And without that, nothing is happening. And another thing is, I truly believe that kids need to be challenged, and so that they can grow. And you cannot. We need to emphasize the journey, the what do you call that? The journey, the process, instead of emphasize on the result. So then, kids can love to learn. My son used to, he usually worried about grades. When he's like less than, I don't know, A, and he would be arguing with her teacher. And so I said, son, it's okay you don't get 4. I never asked him to be a 4.0 student. And so I said, son, the most important thing is, have you learned your lesson? Do you understand? The test's supposed to see whether you truly understand this concept or not. It doesn't matter what's your GPA. So I'm pretty relaxed about this GPA. So I guess I'm not a typical Asian parent. So I guess I forgot what's your question. I think I get
No, it's
distracted.
okay. We're learning more about
Yeah.
you. But what are your specific skills and experiences? Because we learned about your academic and your professional life, but have you done other volunteer, or what other experiences do you have that you think will be useful for being a school board member?
Currently, I am. Last year, I was a school site council at Honor, and this year I just get promoted to be the chairman of of the school site council, and so that's a good start. And another thing is, I'm always being a room parent for my 2 kids, and accompany them to science camp, and help students with their homework during being a room parent, and also help them on the side with a math competition, um, and robotics program. So
All the things that parents are doing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
you're a very active parent. That's good.
we're very active parents.
So, thank you again for your background. Very helpful to get to know you. I'm going to shift gears because we know that a lot of us are very involved with the board meetings, and we hear that there are definitely challenges that we're facing, whether it's budget or decreasing enrollment or some of the other issues. And we're going to talk about equity a lot in a little bit.
mhm.
What do you see as the biggest challenges to the district and to our students?
The biggest challenge, I think, is the direction. It's the community consensus, is whether our school, the school board, has listened to the parents' voice. I think that's the biggest challenge. I mean, maybe the biggest challenge is the communication channel, whether they have listened to the community and also take their voice into action. Just as we are talking today, there is a board meeting today, and the parents are, sending numerous emails to talk about to loosen up the AP registration and allow kids not on self-study kids to be allowed to take the test. And I just feel like, why the parents are like, they're always on alert, try to struggle, try to find a seat for their kids. I mean, we're supposed to encourage, students to take AP classes, give them a, variety, numerous outlet for them to learn. Why it's just it's such a surprise to me. Like parents have to struggle so much.
Yeah.
Yes. So what I mean is that that's not listening to the parent's voice. Um, we have a high percentage of Asian population, and Asian emphasize on academics. I think that's awesome because that's our tradition, and I think as a school board, I would praise this because it's just like that's your expertise. How shall we see that? And of course, on top of that, I would encourage our students to take leadership, community service, and help other disadvantaged students. But that's the majority of a parent's voice. But at the same time, I think we want to take care of the disadvantaged students, and when we talk about equity. I mean, I think we have already done that. The government has given us the fund. But my question is whether we have utilized the fund in the right, effective way. That is my question. And we're always struggling for money, but I think we have plenty of well, I trust we have plenty of fund, but even let's say we are lack of fund in the coming year. But if parents know that we have this goal, we try to build a strong school district. And if we say, parents, can we chip in for, $100 each family? I believe the parents would do that. It's just when you are transparent, you show them where the money is spent or invested, and you will get parent support. You will get our community support. But being truly a partner, the school board is supposed to be a partner with the parents. Yes, we are in this together, truly, in a sense.
Yeah, a common theme with some of these discussions, both the ones we've been hosting and the ones that we've attended, is with different candidates. It almost seems like it's between, and you're translating it in the context of parents, but it almost seems like choosing between district interests versus student interests. And so we're here to be non-biased, but it is an interesting conversation that you're actually bringing in the parents' perspective. So thank you for that. What are your specific goals that you want to accomplish in your first term?
My goal. Yeah, I have four priorities. Of course, one is responsible budgeting and make sure that the money is used in the most efficient and effective ways. And we have to look at, evaluate whether the current programs is working efficient or not, and we need to allocate the money in different areas. I don't know in details, but I'm really good at that. Yes, okay, that's one. I can elaborate a little bit later. And the second of all is quality education. The quality education is give students choices and offer them diverse programs, be it art, literature, music, sports, and of course, science and technology. And so that, kids can really express their interest and find out who they are. And I think there is, when we have a diversity and how should I say that? Everyone prosper. I am, to be honest, I'm so thankful there is people who love cooking because I'm terrible at cooking. Every time by dinner time, I'm like, what to do? It's kind of sometimes feel like it's like my final exam. I'm not prepared. So today I told my husband, can you do this? Because I'm going to have an interview, right? So I'm terrible. So what I'm saying is, let's see, I love science, but people sometimes they love cooking. It's great. And then we all get to love what we love to do. And we have a sense of pride in what we do. And then there's so that's quality education. Quality education doesn't mean that academically. It means in whatever you do, be excellent in pursuing your passion. And of course, the teachers need to be trained because in this technology, age, now we are in distance learning. I mean, we have so many awesome software programs. Teachers need to use this resource so that they can they can have more free time to help those students who really needs hands-on. So that brings another topic. Well, I'll talk about later. Is like excellence versus equity, right? And also that's my second of a priority. The third one is safe return, safety on campus. We talk about this SRO. It's such a controversial, topic. But my point of view is it's this this SRO program has been with us for 20 some years, and we have not heard of any complaints. Like why suddenly it becomes a bad program? We need to get rid of it. But I think even though if we want to do any decision, we need to look at data, look at the facts, then we decide. But a lot of parents want safety, especially during COVID. I mean, when we go back to school, think about it, and the students are distressed. Teacher, we're all locked in, like restless. I think we need safety on campus. What else? And then another one is safe mental health. Of course, that's tagged together. And the fourth priority is a safe return to campus. When the time comes, we need to seriously look at the procedures, and also we need to have a plan to make sure we have enough, money to purchase all this, equipment and temperature, whatever the one to check your temperature, gloves, mask, and we need to be prepared for that. But I could imagine we would offer a choice for parents to let their kids to go back to school, because everyone's preference is different. So I think choice is the best. And also we would be restrained by capacity in a classroom. So yeah, that's my 4 points.
Right. So to summarize, responsible budgeting, excellence and quality education versus equity, or balance with equity, safety and security, both physical and mental, and then safe return to schools, which are all great goals, but they're also very similar to not just other candidates in the district, but other your opponent or your person you're running against. So what specifically do you think differentiates your approach versus the other candidate or candidates in the district?
I shall not comment on other candidates, because that's not my philosophy. Well, they have this smear campaign, right? But we're not even there. But what I mean is that I would focus to show the voters my best assets to be your representative at school board. And I think may the best person win to help our community. So I would tell you what's my strength. I think my strength is I'm very open-minded. Even, at any age, we shall always be a student of life. Be curious of life and always learning and reading and always talk to people. Why is this? And if you have a different point of view, what's your point of view? Let's talk about it, right? And really be a good listener. And also I am always want to find a win-win solution, because doing business, I always feel that there is no you win, I lose, you win. It's always we come to a solution, we both win. And that feels really good, because that's the ultimate solution. Because sometimes you could be temporarily, winning, but then next year, they would get back at you. Then you become a loser again. So I think long-term success is a win-win solution.
Thank you.
And then things can become easier. I think when you are getting the right direction and follow the force of nature, what I mean is you need to follow how the universe is operating. I'm a physics major, right? I mean, you go actually, you go with the flow, and then you could be effortlessly achieve a lot of things. Then go against flow. Go against flow is you have no choice. And if you really want to, tough yourself up, and doing some mountain climbing, yes, go against flow. But otherwise, I think the best way is go with the flow and find the most, I always like to use the word effective and efficient. And how we can become effective, efficient is paying attention. You need to talk to people, paying attention, study all this data, and having this comprehensive view of a situation. And which I would not be brag. I'm very good at that.
Okay,
Yes.
well, they say that school board is probably one of the most, if not the most difficult public offices. And
Oh, uh-huh.
earlier we talked about your perspective that parents partnering with the district. So there's an observation by some that sometimes it feels like district staff and the teachers union have an imbalanced say in how the district is run. It's a very
Uh-huh.
sensitive, it's a very sensitive topic and sensitive area.
Uh-huh.
What is your observation on that? And then back to how you operate in your style. How do you think you would address those issues?
Um, I see that. I mean, when the teachers union, has this negotiation, and then we would like one day before school starts, we would have a mole read. I mean, like, what have we doing? There must be a very tough negotiation, and I have never worked with them, so I could, but I did buy the book. It's called "A Teachers Union versus Public School," and it's like over 10,000 pages. It's written by a Stanford professor. I was like, I mean, I've become a diligent student for a week and reading. And this teachers union is a gigantic, machine. They're very powerful. And so their purpose is to protect the teachers. I mean, good for them. I mean, I think they try to do the best for the teachers because that's a mission. And I think maybe as a president of a teachers union and how they get voted to be the president is how they protect their interest. But at the same time, you have, again, as a leader, you're supposed to take a overall approach to see, because your audience is the students, right? All the teachers are serving the students. And if you overly protect your teachers, but are you serving the audience, your customers? And you have to take a balanced approach. And in Chinese we call yin and yang. It's always, I think, we have passion in raising an issue, and that's great. We need to have a passionate to raise issues, but we always have a level mind, to a collected mind to solve a problem. We need to have balance. So it's not being wishy-washy. It's being balanced and win-win. So again, I would like to talk to them. I would hope that I want to see their point of view, and so that in the future our negotiation would go a little bit smoother, and we can get a result a little bit earlier.
Thank you.
And then I hope everyone wins.
It's my
So,
observation that at the school board in the district level, I always feel like is the parents' voice is the one voice that's missing. The students and parents, even though we're the ultimate consumer of the public education services, but our voice are not really involved in a meaningful way. And so, do you agree with that assessment? And would you be willing to if so, how would you advocate? How would you deal with the lack of parent voice right now? How would you facilitate that voice to be heard?
I think that currently parents are doing great. Every board meeting, and parents would, well, at least the people I know, they would read the agenda and they would discuss it, and they would actually try to write letters and emails to school boards. And so with this AP today, the good news is before the meeting started, and the board has decided to allow the self-study students to be able to register for AP test. You see, and I think the boards, should advocate for parents' voice, encourage them, and to having a dialogue, and also on the different committee. And I think the structure is there are the union's representative are disproportionately bigger than parents and students. So if I'm elected, I would like to address that. And also, I think just keep on the dialogue and go to different workshop and visit schools and talk to parents. And, we can have an endless Zoom meeting, because now that's distant learning. I thought, this is very convenient. I would one day say, okay, I'm your new board member, and let's have a topic, and then we all can talk, right? And how, we can see each other. And how difficult is that?
Would you be sorry? Would you be open to, for example, like holding office hours with parents, so you can always hear feedback from the community, some kind of regular office hour?
I'll try that. Yes. Yeah, I think so. Because if I do that, hopefully we don't have to stay up till 3 a.m. 3 p.m. 3 a.m. Right.
Yeah.
With that incentive, yes, I would do that.
Just as a sidebar for both what Brian is saying and you're saying, Yajing, this is a good time to say that it has worked where the parents are motivated to get involved. And so we encourage, whether you're running for school board or you're not running for school board, if there's a position or a topic that you're very passionate about, you should show up to the board meetings, because that's the only way they'll know that there is either agreement or disagreement on a position they're taking. The AP exam question was interesting, even though none of us in the MIP program have children yet until this year that's starting to take AP exams. That was interesting because the argument was that it was available in neighboring school districts without much commentary or much dissension. And so that was really a sticking point, is why is Fremont different in taking away a mechanism that other school districts and private schools allow for? And that's why it's just so interesting it took this long to get to this resolution.
I guess maybe parents are just really frustrated, and they either, I think they either fight or they leave. There is an interesting data after 2018, our school enrollment dropped. So I don't know the reason, but that during the year 2018 we have a sex education protest. And I did hear some parents just gave up. They left. They enrolled their students in private schools. So, in order for us to increase our school budget, we need to do a good job to attract and keep our parents and keep our students here. So, and then we will not have so much problems in deficit in budget as well.
And this is moving into the next topic, but I'm glad you brought up the sex ed, because for those of us involved with the district's discussions, there were different choices in curriculum that could be made. And so I think back to what neighboring school districts use or chose was at a different amount of material. But this is all in the theme of where are the parents in this conversation, where are the parents' desires and needs and feedback, and how does that show up in how the district actually makes their decisions, balancing what the teachers union wants, balancing what they feel that they need to do as their mandate. And so that becomes almost transitioning to this topic, which is equity. And what does equity mean? Because equity is kind of a loaded word, especially in the situation we're in currently with the upcoming election. So what is your understanding of the term equity in education, and what's your philosophy behind that?
Equity is a trendy word. Let's put that way. Yes. I think equity is give each student the best so that they can all truly realize their potential. And that is true equity. And of course, the general understanding is that disadvantaged kids have less to succeed, and that's why we need to help them. I totally support that notion. That's why the state has already allocated 20% more for the allowance. Let's call that for the disadvantaged student, unduplicate student. That's what they call. And then if your enrollment is 55% more of this unduplicate students, they give you 50% more of the budget. So the state has already helped the unduplicate disadvantaged students. But the thing is how the school is using this fund to help the students, that needs serious study and evaluation. And in my understanding, I think they need more hands-on in the early period. In my understanding, I think if we need to put emphasis on day one when they enrolled in kindergarten. And so then when they go to middle school, they would be on the equal level as other students. So we would not be, stretching the two directions and try to see excellence and equity, because they are all pretty much on the similar level. And also for fast learner, we should give them as much special attention as we paid to disadvantaged students, because they're all special. Why would not us pay attention to both sides? I think the middle one is the most robust students group, right? They are less maintenance and they are all good, healthy. But then those two sides, we need attention, different attention. One is hands-on, one is more stimulating, challenging. I mean, I just thought that's the natural way to grow, to help the community. It's a common sense in my way. I don't want to have this slogan. It's so abstract. I just thought, okay, does that make sense to you? Right? It's common sense. If you're a parent, you have like 10 kids, they are like this. How are you gonna feed them? How are you gonna grow them? So use your common sense. And that is my common sense. And another thing I want to say is excellence. It really elevate equity. I mean, think about COVID-19. I mean, right now, we're at distant learning mode. Without those excellence in technology advancement, we would all be stuck in the cave, doing nothing. There's no internet, no Zoom. How are we going to learn? We're going to be helping our kids read a book. That's it. So I think we are thankful, grateful to the excellence in technology, so that all the kids can access to the technology culture, so that we can keep our sanity. I mean, unfortunately, without all these things, think about what could happening.
Going back to what you said earlier about having diversity of curriculum, I always tell my daughter, for example, that there are many ways to the mountaintop, like there's many ways to succeed. Success is not just defined in one very narrow way. So, pushing disadvantaged students, pushing every student into the academic realm may not be the definition of success. I mean, that's a very narrow definition of success. So
Absolutely.
would you support, for example, having the school district working with local business or community to provide more job training type of classes that are not pure academic, but will have relevance and will prepare a kid to succeed in the future?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for bringing this topic. Absolutely. I think I would work more with this RRP program and Alumni College. And but besides, I think, people have different talent, like, carpentry, what's called mechanical work. And some people just like hands-on, make a sweat and be out in the nature. I mean, people has different talents. And also their upbringing, what their parents are doing and what they love to do. Sometimes, like if you're a lawyer, your dad is a doctor, you become a doctor. And well, my dad is a writer, but I'm not a writer. So I'm a scientist. So you get influenced by your family's culture. And but absolutely, we need to call it what is a success. And that is a success, diverse, and success in what you do. And so my husband it came from Norway. And in Norway, those carpenter get paid as much as engineer. And he has a good friend and who is a young engineer, and he came to our house at the time, and my husband this young guy, and they both handmade our window. Was a change from a single pane to dual pane, and so without paying anyone extra labor. So he said he want to be a carpenter. He was struggling between choosing to be an engineer or being a carpenter, because in Norway they all get paid the same. You see, so I would like our society going into that direction, and of course that comes down to the minimum wages. We definitely, I would definitely strongly support minimum wages, so people don't have to do 3 jobs and could not even stay at home with their kids. So I think this equity is a big issue. It's not only about by the school can address this. It's overall our society, our government, federal government, minimum ages, our state. It's a complicated topic. We all need to join force to make this happen. I forgot. I'm lose track again.
No, you're fine. It is a complicated topic. I remember a statistic which I think still holds true, that in terms of trying to make sure that everyone in the group is at a certain level, that the lower performing students and the most excellent students, that ultimately when they're in high school, they have about the same dropout rate. And that's because, as you mentioned, that the excelling students are too bored or not mentally challenged in their work, so they still drop through the cracks as well. And so it's not something, as you said, it's not something that we're going to be able to solve for in the short term, but it's the philosophy is the important part, because there are topics that have happened in recent years where equity gets thrown around a lot. So as one example, you're in D4, but in D5, which is the Hopkins mission, Hopkins has a 0 period for P. And it comes up often that although the program, I believe, is in the 50,000 a year range, it serves originally the Hopkins band population who needs to be able to have a 0 period PE. And then also when the Spanish immersion program and the Mandarin immersion program came in, that by a requirement, they needed to have an extra period so they can fulfill their additional language class. That seems to come up every year as potentially a program that should be taken away. Now, again, this is just one example because the district has lots of different programs that are unique to the school, but it seems like whenever we talk about equity, it's somehow inherently unfair that a school like Hopkins would have a 0 period versus other schools that have their own unique programs. So we wanted to know what your philosophy is on that.
I would support this program because it's unique and it's also addressed. It supports the students who are in the language immersion program, and it just as I said, I would support unduplicated students as passionately as I support those advanced and eager learning students. Why not? It's like we have to treat them with the same passion, the same care. And I just, I think maybe this is a mindset problem. Is this a scarcity issue? Or maybe it's like I give those students and then is that I take away the opportunity for poor students, poor performing students? I don't see that way. I think the disadvantaged students, again, my thinking is we need to help them. We need to help them and pay attention to them when they enrolled in elementary school. Because I was a room parent at a kindergarten. I see this girl, was 6 years old, and she speaks Spanish. And she was this quiet, sweet girl. But you can tell that she didn't understand the simple math. And so, I mean, she was very quiet, but you can tell that she is not very confident. And I think looking back, the teachers should call in the parent, or maybe we'll have a special group to help those kind of kids so that they can, proceed normally in life. It's much easier to fix the issue at an early time. Imagine if we don't fix this problem when she's, on the 3rd grade, and she will be totally lag behind, and that would become a bigger problem. So I think we need to address those issues early on. I would rather put a lot more human resource and to the younger kids. I mean, so that they can have a good start. And but I definitely think we need to change our mindset, and it's not lose and win. What's called gain and lost. It's win-win. And so, and again, when you have excellence in students, and they can also help out with other kids. What about the message is, Zhang, you cannot take this AP because it's taken away because of the equity. How do you think they can help other kids in the future? What's their view on the disadvantaged students? It's like, because then we could create our society, create this fight among these two groups. Right now, we are all community members, but soon that we created this division. It's not, it's we man-made create this division. It's not supposed to be there. And again, some people would ask me, do you support teaching racism at school? I'm like, no, I do not. At small kids, they don't understand what is racism. And if you tell them such a complicated subject, and they are confused, and they would be very politically correct, they dare not to say a thing. And again, you kind of put this concept into their mind without them comprehend what it means. And you would further divide the people than unite them. Kids are beautiful. They see everyone as their friends, right? They don't see color. They don't see differences. So I think if you want to talk about this subject and to discuss it when kids are older, they have a critical thinking, then we can discuss, that's my point of view.
So you discussed about how we should address kids who need additional help or are disadvantaged or are lower performing. What are your recommendations for those kids again who are would be excelling but are slipping through the cracks? How would you support them?
Say it again, please.
So these are students who are doing well or are not academically challenged because their performance is above the expectation. So they're performing ahead, and so therefore they're also not being served because they're not. One of your campaign tenets is about excellence in education, which is for everyone. So we're using the extreme example that there are students who already excel, are not motivated, or not challenged in the current system. What are your thoughts on how do we encourage them?
I would definitely open up the policy and open up the system, and so that they can take different AP classes. Maybe they can take online classes, and I don't know. Maybe they can go to different schools to take. Basically, it's an open policy, and do not set up these man-made restrictions for students to learn. We want open up the channel, and that's generally my policy. The reason, I came to United States because it's an open, society with freedom to grow, and that's the reason. United States is a powerful country in the world. So it's this open system. When you look at even the software, right? The open system always win. It's always true. You have to be open and open embracing. It's the nature, I believe. So, encourage them and let them give them a variety of programs, and it's okay to be different. It's okay that the kids sometimes they are advanced, and we emphasize, we celebrate their achievement. But then it's also okay to pursue different dreams in hands-on and occupational excellence, and that's also needs to be celebrated and praised. I think also I would like to encourage the students who are academic challenged to take those classes as well. You know what? They need hands-on experience as well. Doing some soldering, carpentry, I mean, that would be good for their engineering skills. And I totally think, and also to go back to the ROP classes, these days, I mean, technology is much more involved in their learning as well. So there's not such a fine line, I mean, and they all need to learn, use technology equipped assisted program and help them learn. And I think this technology is going to help both sides. So basically open-minded, celebrate the difference, and we are all the winners of life as long as we are giving our best shot. That's it. I also think we need to change our culture. And who said that you are a doctor, you are the winner, and you are a plumber, you're not a winner? Plumber gets paid a lot. These days, you cannot even find a plumber and without paying them a very decent salary. I mean, nowadays, we have technology. We are so lack of a personal service. I think those also are great areas, for people who have interest. So the culture is supposed to celebrate diversity and different occupation and have pride in what you do. I think we all need to change our concept about different jobs, and celebrate excellence in whatever you do. There is once a quote said, be someone, right? Your parents say, be someone, because so that you can be someone important. And now I look back and said, I mean, like, yes, be the best you can be yourself. Of course, they said the other one is taken. It's true. We want to be the best version of ourselves. That's my quote to my kids.
Well, you seem to have pretty strong opinions and a well-formulated approach. One thing that we didn't talk too much about, which is again a looming challenge, is back to the decreasing enrollment, back to the budget challenges. Do you have a thought of what you would like to do to address the budget issues?
The budget issue. I mean, first of all, we need to improve our school, encourage students learning, and so that we can have more parents enrolled in public school, have gain back the confidence in public school. And also when other people from different cities, when we know that Fremont have good schools, they want to move here and to be the residents, and that's how we attract people, and get our enrollment going and get our budget going up. Another thing is I heard that we have a lot of apartment building around the BART station, and whether we are addressing these school issues. I mean, I really do not know the details. I think there is this fees charged to the developers to build, but I don't know how much is that and whether it's reasonable. But I do know that we can negotiate every year. So then that's good. We can address that every year. We can maybe too much building going up, and let's increase the price so that we can get some money for our schools and slow down the building going up, and also work with the city, because the city, the education is one important part of the city life. We need to work with the city and to be on the same page, and get them to support us as well on the budget side. And another thing I can think is get our parents involved. We have doctors, engineers, a lot of engineers, and to talk to the companies to see whether they can support different programs, to have a high school internship, or have them have some what's called programs to give us donation, and maybe some computers and softwares or teaching or mentorship. So all this we can do. I think we just need to have the parents' confidence back, and then we can achieve a lot. It's like as long as we are in the same page, we're all putting our strengths together, and we can achieve a lot. Because now it's like the parents are not fighting with the school board, and we're not fighting with the teachers union. We are all doing this together for the betterment of our community. I definitely think we can achieve this. And also on top of that is like, yeah, we can have another what's called parcel tax, because last time it's failed, did not pass. I believe that it's the community is lack of faith in our school board, and they did not know where the money is going, and they did not see the result, or they did not understand we need to be more transparent, and we need to show result, and we need to invest money in the right place. And then when we need to improve the building and give students help, and we can get the community on our side to support us. So
It's a fair assessment, just because the bond measure that had passed many years ago, and it was supposed to cover the modernization of the 5 junior highs and other projects. It may only cover the 5 junior highs modernization, or maybe not even the 5th one. So,
Yeah.
so you're right. That is a very sensitive topic.
right.
I think, when I talked to parents about Measure L last year, or last school year, it seemed the prevailing sentiment was that parents were angry because they didn't know how the money is being spent, and they feel like they didn't have a say in the direction of the district. So I think, part of the steps toward getting parent support for a parcel tax is to restore faith in the process, to making sure that, again, parents, students' voice are heard. And when they feel like the process is working and their voices are heard, they are much more willing to support a parcel tax measure. So I think that's important. I'm not running, but at the same time, I just feel like I need to chime in with my thoughts.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because nowadays, and think about tonight, if parents have to jump hoops to get their kids to sign on AP test, and so you want them to pass your parcel tax, forget it. It's not going to happen. Yeah. Right. I won't do that. Right. So I just think we need to listen to them. They are our partners, right? We're all partners. Yeah. So, I mean, for me, I just thought clear direction, and then you need to make sure you're in the right direction, and then you study before you take any plans. I mean, study well, analyze, and talk to everyone you could. And after your decision is made, and you need to, just execute. I mean, that's me. I mean, in life, but I act very fast. In this example, I only know this campaign, a position 7 days before the deadline of registration. I have no idea even where to register. I was telling my friend, okay, where to go? And they tell me, I'm like, okay. And I have no idea. But I thought, this is the right thing to do. And we all need to challenge ourselves, right? We talk about giving back. We talk about don't mind your own business, right? Be a good, citizen to the community. I mean, Chinese, we always talk about, we only mind our own little business. We are not very good. I'm like, okay, we talk about it. Now it's time to show that you take actions and just do it. Now I did. So I don't think much. When I know it's the right direction, I take actions. That's me. So that's my background. I'm not well planned to be a politician. So no, that's not on my agenda. I just want to do a great job for our school if I'm elected. I would imagine in 4 years, I want to see our students getting better. They grow, and we have a great reputation among, now it's Cupertino, Fremont, whatever that is, and we have a sense pride in our Fremont city. People will talk about Fremont, instead of Palo Alto. Oh, but Palo Alto is great. But, you know, we also want to have some culture in Fremont, right? You always talk about, okay, we want to go to a cultured place, not as Palo Alto, some other place. You know, why can't we have something, right? That comes to art, music, we can do all of that. Why not? You know, that comes to my open mind, you know? I mean, why can't we do that, right? So I just love all these things. So you know what? Actually, running camping is very tiring. I have to say, I never worked this hard in my life. Okay, not only before was like mentally, you know, you think, you plan, and then after I become a business owner, I do hands-on as well. You know now, but not as much. And nowadays, is what brain and body, right? And I type the ropes. I put those what's called yard sign. I scratch myself with have those wounds on my hands, and it worked so hard. But at the same time, I think I feel energized, and it's like in the life you usually do things for your kids, and that's selfless. And this is the first time in my life I feel like I'm doing something which is not for me. It feels awesome. Really, it feels great.
Well, Yajing, with that, thank you for your time. How do people find you? Where's your website?
Oh, that's important. It's www.zhang, ZHANG, 4 schools with a S.com. Zhang 4 schools.com.
Right.
Please vote for me. I'll do the best for you guys.
Well, thank you very much for being here tonight. Once again, Yajing Zhang, who is running for District 4, which is also the Irvington attendance area. On behalf of the Chinese Immersion Parents Council of Fremont, I wanted to thank Julie Fan, our president, Brian Lee, our former president, and I myself am Keith Koo, and we wish all the candidates the best, and we will be doing D5 next. So Yajing, thanks again, and we will see you again.
Thank you so much, Keith, Brian, and Julie.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Bye.
Have a good
Thanks
night.
for those
Bye-bye.
in attendance. Thank you.